Mamunya kwaba ediba adwumadi so adaroma on Saka Live telecast ya na wabo mode no ahama na efe nchira oba bia obia baso anu ahye no ahama na efe obaso anu ahye na efe fe sahara tie obaso anu ahye na efe she na nyefe enwumre mi chiachia enwumre mi chiachia. Big ups to you wherever you are. I believe you're doing great. It's a pleasure to have you people watch this live telecast. Chiamu, hey, Amajima, you can lie, Papa. Obaso anu ashama me. Why wadaroma? Odu message baso ameka ma okama. I'm taking the message from this side. Jennifer Piasante says, good evening to my handsome papa. Good evening to you. Josephine, how are you doing? I believe you're doing great. Michael Champon, thank you very much from the warm wishes. Chapia, thank you very much for the compliment. I'm looking like I've not eaten for almost 4 years. Okay. Reverend Joseph Jima. Yes, when you come online, just leave your comment at the comment section. I believe you have gotten yourself prepared. You've loaded yourself with a lot of questions. Tonight, I am here as your captain to pilot you through life. So get yourself prepared, and I'm honored to be your lecturer tonight. Now, Dr. Kodru. Doctor, he says, things hard. Things are never hard. I can see a flying serpent, but just keep calm. Just keep calm. Richard Boachi says, I'm Kofi from Canada. Hi, Kofi, how are you doing? Greetings to you. Jennifer Numakon says, good evening, Papa, the global here. Thank you very much, my beautiful Jennifer. How are you doing? Gladys and Bruce, how are you doing? Gladdy. Amajima with the fakest of all love. Okay, Nanesika Okleme Kuku. You had a dream, right? What was it about? Tell me, you had a dream. You said you had a dream. Josephine Boatin, tonight I'm not feeling well at all. He says, how are you feeling this night? Josephine, I'm not feeling well at all. Okay, Kwame Apiasla says, good evening, champion. How you doing? Victor, salute you, sir. Justice Osafo, see, champion, salute you wherever you are. Augustine Aqua, you are welcome on board. Nana J says, good evening, you are welcome. We're waiting for your wisdom delivery. Thank you very much for your compliment. And then we have Noah here online. Kevin, thank you very much. Kindly keep on sharing this live telecast with me. Let it to get to a lot of people. James Edward, how you doing? Gladys, he says, I'm doing good, Father. I am on my way to Ghana. Are you sure? Okay. Last month you told me that you're coming for a funeral. Okay. Safe journey. Okay, when you come online, kindly share this live telecast for me. I am begging you. Flora J, how you doing? Faustina J, Sia. Good evening, Faustina J, Mary Boateng. Okay. Teresa Clevey, how you doing? Kojapia says looking fresh always. Dada na Kwaju. Vanophilia, how you doing, my beautiful woman? I believe you are doing great. Yaya Boa. Greetings to you wherever you are. I believe you are doing fervently well. Ebenezer Ohinitechi. Greetings to you and your lovely wife. And then Alice, how you doing? Another Gladys in here. It says, Papa, you are looking good. Thank you very much. Just that. Josephine Boateng says, what's wrong with you? As usual, you for no now. You for no now. You for no. You know, say, as a man, Josephine, as a man, you walk up way, get money. You say life is something else. It means that nothing serious be just that. Charlie, did the boy. Should that did my body. Okay, he says, Reverend Tinedu. He says, Papa, of late, all my dreams have renovating houses, and you and Mr. Ose came to see me directing. Oh. Thank you very much. Franket. I'll be very grateful if I get to know your name. And then we have Kevin says that yesterday's teaching was very educative, transformative, and then eye-opening. Thank you very much. Elisha John Fusu says, Papa, this bird quail is not easy to find. It's in Italy here, but they told me to buy it online. Elizabeth Udru, thank you very much. Mom Hayden, I believe you're doing great. Rose Monopon, good evening. Okay, my doors are forever open to you all tonight. I want to be your captain that will certainly pilot you through life. In case you've got any question, kindly write it and then send it in here. I'll be very glad to read it out and then respond to you. Yesterday, pertaining to what I was actually teaching you, I told you people to jot certain questions out of whatever that I was saying. And because of time factor, I wasn't able to pick up question out of whatever that I thought you people. So today, I am grateful. If you have any question, you can bring it out so that we can deliberate on issues. We have a lot of scholars here online. We have legal luminaries and medical experts. Anything. This is a wonderful classroom. We've got a lot of lecturers here. So anything that is inimical to the ambition of you, bring it out. Anything that is susceptible to paranormal, bring it out. The actual word should be one family. Na yan why? Nene, it says Daddy, please, in my dream, I wanted to plant a coconut on a coconut tree, but there was a huge gap between me and the coconut tree, even though I am very close to it, but there was deep valley around it. Hey, nene, sika. There's a problem in the rest of the spirit, okay? It's not a good thing. Your heart aspires for something very vibrant, but there is a gap between you and that particular said thing that you're looking for. And prayers needs to be made on your behalf. You need a spiritual direction, or else you will not get what you're looking for. Thank you very much. Ronnie Joseph says, I'm listening from New York, Brooklyn. Thank you very much. At least 1 or 2 shares from you can help grow this channel. Okay, Ronnie Joseph says, I don't speak Chi. I like listening to you for my blessings. Oh, sorry. I have an English channel on this same YouTube, okay, Mr. Ronnie. It is called Rhyme TV. Kindly go there and subscribe to it. Very soon I'll be activating it for a live streaming. So kindly go there for me, okay? Thank you very much. Very sorry about any inconveniences caused by speaking this our local dialect. Doreen Sewa, greetings. How are you doing? I believe you're doing great. Okay. Kevin says, Papa, yesterday you told us the shortcomings of black, especially Christians, but I wish you to teach us how to access the real power source. In order to better our lives. I've already told you, the very moment you start declining what you have been taught over years, over decades, and start relearning again, and start reprogramming your subconscious mind, this is where you discover the true identity of yourself. And then you can realign yourself with the divine kingdom. As far as you have these things that you were taught in Sunday school pile up in your subconscious, under no circumstance will you be able to connect yourself with the divine, because anything that we were taught by these Sunday school teachers, from our religious leaders, majority of them were never true. It was never true. It's just that those spiritual leaders saw us to be kids. So they fabricated stories to suit our hearing. So majority of whatever that we were taught at the Sunday school when we were growing up, it was never true. And the majority of the things that these so-called pastors and prophet has preached to us, majority of them are not truth. So you need to unlearn, to relearn. That's the whole issue. How can you tell me that when we're in Sunday school, Sabbath schools and stuff, they told us that when you go to heaven, you can command fried rice, jollof rice, and all of a sudden it will appear instantaneously. It never works like that. It never works like that. And as a matter of fact, even when you are fortunate to enter into heaven with your flesh, like how Elijah or Eliyahu Hanav, Elijah the prophet, had the opportunity to have ascended to the zenith of heavens. Even if you are fortunate enough, like that of Elijah, when you get to heaven, you'll be transfigured. Everything about you will be transfigured. So you will no more operate in your physical stature, but rather you'll be transfigured into a spirit being. Your eyes will be transfigured into a flames. So I don't know where exactly they got their teachings from, when they keep on telling us that when you go to heaven, there's rice, there's that. There's nothing like that over there. So where did you people get your teachings? All these great prophets and our predecessors who had the opportunity to visit heavens, several times. None of them came back and told us that when they went there, they were given food to eat. So where from all these messages that pastors in Africa fed us with? Okay, he says, Rosemont upon, will someone go to heaven while the person follows the Jesus on the ship you talked about yesterday? It's never true. How can you go to heaven through something that doesn't exist? The living Christ says that no one goes to the Father except through me. So as a matter of fact, if you believe in Jesus Christ and believe in the things that he did, you can't tell me you can access heaven through an entity that has never existed. The joint European slave unionship never existed. It is not an entity. It doesn't even have a mouth to plead or intercede on your behalf. So when and how would that thing give you that mandate, that divine mandate to access heaven? It never works like that, okay? Obia ni wonu obesom calendar nyame obetimi anya oje da. Obia ni ho awasase we so obetimi asom calendar nyame anya oje ebi nsi da. Nti na omukọ ehyiamu no omo ba na car accident grind no omawu. Nyame mfa wo mo ho, Jacob tumfo mfa wo mo because onye omo nya ne dia. Onim wo mo wo ba bia. So if there's something on the way coming to kill them, and he will sit there and allow it to kill them. They don't care. Because you don't belong to God. Doreen says, please, I humbly ask for the clarity on Numbers 28 verse 7. I feel they are trying to take us in with this quotation. Okay. What is it? What is it about? Tell me. What is written in Numbers 28 verse 7? Doreen, tell me. He got granted. Nenesika granted. Let me tell you, you can never worship God through a portrait, an image of something that never existed, and still have it in mind that when you die, you will be saved. It never works like that. Is it why? You see, sometimes sit yourself down. Sit yourself down. When you go to this China as a country, when you go to India as a country, these two countries, they have their deities, of which sometimes there is some similarities between these two countries, their gods that they do serve. And these people, they pray to their God earnestly. And when you step your foot into these two countries, you could see clearly that these two countries have advanced in terms of everything, technology-wise, educational-wise, in terms of medicine, researching, everything. These two countries have advanced. In fact, when you travel to some part of China, you could see clearly the kind of machines that these people are using at that place. Their deities keeps on bestowing upon them blessings upon blessings. Of course, that is what they have articulated their belief to. They believe in certain deities. And now, we the African people, especially the West African countries, West African countries, West Africa, all the countries that was colonized by these British people, go there and check things yourself. Even their educational system is in the state of dilapidated melancholy. You will not even have a taste for it. And till today, we still have schools under trees in the continent of Africa. When you come to Ghana, we still have it here. When you go to Nigeria, we still have it there. When you go to South Africa, Kenya, all these Zimbabweans, Rwanda and stuff, we still have schools under trees. And every now and then, we do go to church. So what's wrong? Champion. Okay, Mr. Francis, thank you very much. Next time when I'm addressing you, I'll use the name Francis, okay? Tell me, if our leaders were to be advocating for truth, do you think we would have gotten to this level? Look at how we are suffering. African countries, we are suffering, especially these countries that were ruled by the British people. Look at how we are suffering. Inti yenyame na ye sorry a ye kwa sorry a de bia ya bompa ya kire na bompa ya mame nka asem nchiro mame nka asem bi nchiro mame nka asem bi nchiro asem we ya mekan ana minka brofo mpo ne ntimi nkwa akiri okay o de mame nka twisa asem we ya mekan asem we ya mekan madaroma mo a mo online so no mo pa mo nya research na mo hwade now okọ baby to say America, okọ baby to say Canada, okọ baby to say Germany, okọ baby to say UK and other countries now, France. Utimi hu say oman na omutimu no ye wo nipa bi a omo oman nim a omudi o madwene etimi a create bibi ama emfaso abaso a yedie ni enhyira abaswa omo enjoy. Now, when you go to Korea, Japan, right? We have so many industries over there. Sa country we produce cars. Yes, you Japan Motors. Oko America, GMC, ne other cars. Oko Britain, produce Range Rovers, ne Rolls Royce, any other cars. Oko Germany, ordinary other cars, your banks ne oko France omo cars, oko China omo cars, oba India omo cars, tata ne sane o ma no omo na produce o ma there. Now and you could see say there are certain people in the country their source of money genuine. They have not soiled their hands in innocent blood. Enti omutimi boa oman no ye wo omo de omadwere chocolate produce go to China, go to Taiwan, Thailand nyina de obe produce mo produce de produce enkoko produce de oye bibia utimu se adwene no adwuma 24/7 and de help boost omo economy. Now come back to African continent. African continent, we esikafo mako 100. Tienie Africa, we esikafo mako 100 edigina hono mo a. Sa esikafo no maye yie no. Emu 90 anye drugs political, through political can say success and gain. Obey politics into a politician, into a bar power and what form any sika and what the Riano de call. Oh, Opa steady a sika for Ghana. Salai we are no munina to and yet drugs and why ya and yet or mine no abon chrono no wafa and the dan botum and wodidi or no an general intimate bibia or no ultimate produce only bibia the boy mine but wafa what he enjoy in life. Sanotie. Now, emu 10% no and what Ghana na omo ye sikafo no ene omo timi kra bibi tieni o ene omo timi kra bibi free China omo kra bibi obi wo house me kra ntare me kra cars me kra samena me kra emo me kra wei ene omo de ba omo timi ton enya bibi wo so na saa nkrofo no kra na omo ndolso saa nkrofo no omo ndolso so on the besa me chiro saa nkrofo no omo ndolso saa nkrofo no ndolso omo ye be 10%. Ghana sikafo nyina 10%. 10% ene timi eye saa niema no wo mo aka nyinara enye politics obeye politics within 1 year 2 years no assist a dime kakraka adentia of all money sika. You see, so sometimes I ask myself, so what's the necessity in wasting your time, your hard-earned resource, going to school, wasting much time? We can't produce anything. We can't produce anything of our own. Adentia, it becomes of sometimes I will attribute about 60% of Africans' failure to what we call religion. Because our fathers in there have not taught us the truth and realities of life. There are some pastors, they don't preach realities of life. They make you people to believe in things that are unreal. There are certain hope when you start hoping, it will become hopeless. It will never even materialize. So don't even think about it. And any state that has tended to become a consumer state will never progress, because anything that comes on you people, you have to release it out. Anything in Africa, you're poor no. Kakrabi abeba yehubia, you're releasing it, they call out. You're releasing it, they call out. You're releasing it, they call out. And when you're 10,000 Ghana, this will release the copper mo, this will release the copper phone. You can't enjoy life. Exchange rate is killing us. Exchange rate is killing us. Exchange rate is killing us. Imagine say $1. Or the koji bear 10. Ghana cedi no kwa 10. And say what you $1 two butum. Into America. Opa America for ka ibia yusua. Imagine say obi owo online, mo amwo Accra, mo amwo Kumasi, mo amwo Eastern region, Takrade, Volta region, mo amwo northern sector. Mo hwemi nyina. Mi busa mo say easy say obetena Ghana ha na wanko baabia na wanya sika just 100,000 Ghana cedis. Me pacho easy. Let's assume say we a teacher ni, we a medical doctor. Me pacho, how many months of your monthly salary and I will be put it down etimidianya just 100,000 Ghana cedis, just 100,000 Ghana cedis. Just a chicken change. It is not easy to come by. And you know, abrabona ye won Ghana ha no. Aye ahometie. Obid o mine didi o mo men. Ghana mi hu Ghana ni bi a wadidi amenda. And ye say politicians no, and ye sikafo no mu sika no, na omu didi men. Na wo a wo ye abayadwuma say wo ye police ni, wo ye nurse ni, doctor ni, wo ye teacher ni, any ankra ne de. Wo didi a wo men, wo didi a wo men. That is the reality. Udim di entia. Udim di entia. Imagine say untimi enjoy life. Ya ye 2024 Land Cruiser, 2025 Range Rover, 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander. Enti car we associate teacher ni ana. Car we associate medical doctor na. Car we associate ya can say nurse ni ana. Debi da. So reality no. And so nsene no. And ka teacher ni nso nya bi dinamu a. And konso benya sundue di akyere nkwala na de yi. Na so teacher ni ye de koto sa aka no. Ni nyina ye systems. But broni die or the nadwene e de ahyehye nioma. Enti obi ye nurse ni, obi ye teacher ni wa America, obi ye teacher ni ye nurse ni e wo UK. Otimi ko ekwaje car no on credit. Na otuatua ne kakra. Ghana ha ehimfo na obetimi akwaje sa car no atuatua ne kakra. Imagine a young guy wesisu who strike from 18 to 35 years. Now kukuru be 3, 4, 500,000 Ghana cedis e dia koto car se wuchi. Now ufiefuo kura nkum, ufiefuo bekum because abrabono obi a work within 18 to 35 years there. Afraid wa sha abrabo ase. In African proverb, they will tell you, say, life begin what at 40. How can you tell me, say, life begins at 40? It's never true. But the white people know, say, the life of every human here on earth, the second phase or the second cycle of every man's life begins from 40. After 40 years, if you don't have anything to write home about, you have lost it in life. Your first phase, you have lost it. Because when you get to your 40 years of age, you are preparing yourself to die. Because automatically you will get to 50 years. When you get to 50 years, 60. When you get to 60, 70, then you are getting closer to your grave. So by the age of 40 years, you have lost it all. If you don't have anything to write home about, that is the realities of life. But our teachers and religious leaders will never tell you the truth. They make you to hope for things that are not real. That even if you don't enjoy here on earth, when you go to heaven, you enjoy over there. So majority of these black people have shut down their cerebral capacity instead of them to reactivate it and think like a normal rational being. They don't think like that. They have accepted defeat, considered defeat, and they are so relaxed. They are so relaxed, hoping that they will die one day and go to heaven and enjoy over there. But the white man doesn't have that mentality because they know that it is never like that in the rest of the spirit. It is never like that in the rest of the spirit. Life begins from the day. The day. A man's life begins from the age of 12 years. A man's life, if you are a man, your life begins from the age of 12 years. And if you are a woman, your life begins from the day that you menstruate. The very day that you receive the your monthly disintegration of the surface of the uterus, which is your menses. Your life began from that day, because from that day, if a man mistakenly touches you, you will be impregnated. You can also procreate. My brother, let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Let's tell ourselves the truth. The realities of life. Let's tell ourselves. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. It has gotten to a point that we need to gain illuminations. Oh, minye fake prophet too. Minye demon. As how some of you people, your pastors have made you or urged you to perceive me. I'm not like that. I am only here to make sure life becomes comfortable for you. That is my sole responsibility, and that is all. Reverend Tinid, he says, what is the guarantee that after your death you will have access to enter heaven? What is the guarantee? What's the guarantee? You see, the white man has sat down and programmed their system. You see, when you read carefully regarding the history, the educational history of America, you'll be so much amazed to discover that in the olden days, somewhere 1600s down coming to 1700s, America was all about religious beliefs. America, the educational system in America in the year 1600s down coming, it was all about religious activities and stuff. But one day, they said to themselves that we need to reframe our system, rebrand ourselves. We can't go ahead with this religious thing. We need to take certain beliefs and system down and reshape our educational system. Now, when they had that meeting, afterwards, after being able to engineer a new ideas into reality, this is where scientists, engineers, and other people from different dimensions all came in and then began to put hands together. And now this is how far they have built America. America happens to be the number one powerful country in the world. And America, being powerful in the world, who has dominated and extremely powerful, they can dictate for any country that they wish. America can dictate for any country that they wish. I'm telling you that America didn't build their country based on religious beliefs. They built their country based on radical approach, logical reasonings. America built their country based on radical approach, logical reasoning. They sat down and articulated a future that 1 + 1 = 2. We don't want any religious belief to come and tell us that 1 + 1 is still 1. 1 + 1. As how it is written in the Bible that a woman and a man will join together and become one. This is a religious belief. When you go to America, it doesn't work like that. When you get married to an American woman, when you misbehave today, she will tell you it is over. She will tell you, I am sorry, it is over. She will call for a divorce. I'm telling you, you people who reside in America, watching me live, you attest to what I'm saying. When you legally marry a woman in America and you misbehave, she will tell you, I'm sorry, we can't continue this relationship. Okay, he says, Nanaji, he says, but Papa, please, all these things you are saying, our leaders school these and have lived with all this system. Why is it difficult for our leaders to do same for us here? Yes, our leaders can never do same for us when we are not ready. You see, it is very difficult to bring progress, success into a family that has wallowed in the pool of impecuniosity and long suffering. A family whose ideas and understanding was established based on poverty. When a young guy rises in that family, striving very hard so that the person can break through in life, they will tell you you are arrogant, because at a point when you don't desist and isolate yourself from certain category of people, you can't make it. But when you isolate yourself from those people, they will come after you and tell you that you are arrogant, you don't respect. You see the narrative. So our African leaders, they truly know, they have lived in the Western world. They schooled over there. Some of these politicians, they had their masters, MPhil, they did their professorship at that place. Some of these medical experts, they specialized in these Western countries. But the reason why they can't implement this same system here in Africa is because of Africa and its people. The people who live within Africa are not prepared for progress. Could you imagine that as I am seated here advocating for human freedom, human success, there are some pastors who have also been using me to preach on their pulpit, telling people that I am an antichrist, I am a devil's incarnate. So imagine this kind of mindset that we have in this country. We can't progress. We can't progress. Everything is on God. We are living life just like that, and we expect God to do everything for us. You see the narrative that these black people, the narrative that they are having. We expect God to do everything for us. When there is light out, Oh God, touch the heart of the ECG people to put on the light. You see the narrative and how we are being programmed. Everything in Africa is God. Things that has nothing to do with God, they still articulate it to God. ECG takes off light. Oh God, have mercy. They don't have a proper drainage system in their own cosmopolitan cities. When it rains, oh God, have mercy, so that this flood will not take me away. Oh God, this, oh God, that, oh God, that. You see the narrative. You see? So, until the people living in the continent of Africa, their minds are reprogrammed to unlearn the lies they have been taught, Africa will never experience any progress. Until the mindset of the people living in the continent of Africa are being reprogrammed, because they have fed their subconscious mind with a lot of lies. How do you tend to bring prosperity to these people? Imagine somebody, imagine somebody who has been fed with lies right from his or her early tender stage, being it that money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. How can you tell me these lies, that money is the root of all evil? So in that case, if this is written in the Bible, then the Bible itself contradicts. Why? Because Bible says that the devil became envious of the position of God in heaven. So he conceived in his thought that he will wage war in heaven. That is the story that we grew up to be told by our religious leaders. They say that the devil became jealous of God's kingdom and envious of God's position. So he wanted to dethrone God and enthrone himself. So, with the issues of this first sin in the Bible, they didn't have anything to do with money. If it was written in the Bible that God had kept something like money, gold, diamond in heaven, so the devil wanted to go and steal that money, and God threw him down here on earth, I would have been tempted or dared to believe that, of course, money is the root of all evil. But the first crime recorded in the Bible has nothing to do with money. So when and how would you come out and tell me that, OPATAFUOR, money is the root of all evil? When I try to sit down and assimilate and synthesize whatever you are telling me, it doesn't click up. So I will never take it. Money brings development. It brings progress. To experience better education, you need money. To experience better education, we need money. When you are suffering from any chronic ailment and you visit any reputable hospital, you need money to facilitate everything there. If you can eat better food in Africa or even in this world, you must fill your pocket first. So since everything rests on the shoulder of money, as I speak with you right now, how can you come out and tell me that money is the root of all evil, so I should stay away from money? Knowing fully well that when a man becomes successful in life, he has gained a certain level of freedom in a society. There are so many people living in prisons and cells. Why? Because there have been so many forms of accusations leveled against these people, and they didn't have the opportunity to go in for a lawyer to stand in and fight for them. Why? Lack of finances, lack of money support. Do you know the crimes and atrocities that these big men that we see on the screen have committed in our society? But they are still alive and surviving. Why? Because they have money. Let me tell you the realities of life, my brother. This woman who was sentenced to prison 15 years, I believe you know this woman in this country, the woman who was sentenced to prison. Now, there are some people in this country who are advocating for the president to pardon her. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. There had been an evidence on the social media platforms where so many people have come out to confess the things that this woman did to them, the heinous crimes that this woman committed against these people. Yet, because of the money that she has, we have some people, journalists, top-ranking journalists, sitting on top media platforms, advocating for the release and the pardon of that woman. And we are here, a guy stole just 3,000 Ghana cedis, and this guy has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Somebody stole 4,000 Ghana cedis. Somebody stole just plantain. Somebody stole just gari. Somebody stole just mobile phone. And a woman who has committed a lot of crimes, people are there advocating. So what makes you think that they are pleading the government to pardon her? It's because of the money that she has. She has literally signed some check to release some funds out, paying some bloggers and certain people to come out and cry on her behalf, so that the government and certain category of people in power will sympathize with her. And that is the reality. All these things are happening on the behalf of this woman because of what we call money. And today our religious leaders, they are living in first class zones, first class places reserved for people who are higher governmental officials. They are enjoying life. They are enjoying life. These so-called pastors. When you go to Nigeria, there were some pastors over there who advocated that Christ is coming just the year 2000 and above. And they were able to manipulate those people to sell out their belongings and gave the money to them in the name of serving God. Some people have lost their property. Some people have lost certain vital element in life in the name of religion. I am never against Christianity, and I can never be against it. But I am telling you that the face and the narrative of Christianity must be changed, because it's not helping people. Me, I always tell my people that if Christ is coming, let Christ come. We have not committed any crime. We have not done anything evil. But as far as people keep on propagating the message that Christ is coming, and we have not yet experienced anything, we have not seen anything, and Christ has not come, we will go to work. I always tell you, find something to do with your life. Get up in the morning and go to work. Go to work so that you save yourself from human humiliations. I'm telling you, go to work, work hard, get money, save some, reinvest it, so that you save yourself from human embarrassment. The things that people will say to you when you are poor, I'm telling you, you'll never like it. Some of us, we came from a very poor family background. We have tasted poverty before. We have slept with poverty before. We have lived in the same room with poverty before. So I know the consequences and the quagmire of deprivations, things that happen to humanity. My brother, this deceit and false propagation of the gospel, it didn't just begin in this year 1900 or 2000. when Yahushua, the now called Jesus Christ, came on the scene, the situations that you find yourself today was how these ancient times, those Pharisees and Sadducees, have programmed the society to live. And majority of these people during those days when Christ came on the scene, they were wallowing in the pool of impecuniosity and long suffering. So they were looking for the Messiah to come in to manumute and extricate them from poverty. So when Jesus came on the scene, propagating the gospel, liberating people, telling them the truth, it was this same high priest and bishops and apostles as at that time who conspire against Jesus, being it that Jesus is giving people information that will set them free. So the reason why they killed Jesus, not because he did anything. The reason why they rose up and fought against Jesus, it's not because of anything. It's not because of anything. It's because Jesus was liberating people. He was carrying the message of truth. He was carrying the message of truth. He was carrying the message of truth. Jesus was carrying a message of truth, telling people to work. You see how intelligent and how brilliant Jesus is? To have sit down, to be able to ascertain and tell it to the people that even no matter what you have on you, even if it is a penny, reinvest it. That is why he made a statement concerning human life and success. He says there are some people in a society who will be fortunate enough to have been gifted 10 talent. Some of them will also be given 5 talent. Some of them will also be given 1 talent. But Jesus was trying to tell us that irrespective of what we have on us, we must be able to create multiple streams of income to ourselves. We must be able to get money and reinvest. That is why he says the man who was given the 1 talent, if he knew that he didn't have any wisdom or knowledge to create a multiplicity of that money, he should have given the money to him, Jesus himself, so that he would have taken to the banking firm. So even Jesus spoke about banking investment. He was teaching his people about money. Money. Minia, mumfan chemi sama kabrofo why? Mumfan chemi. Mumfan chemi why? Me pamucho. Mumfan chemi why? Sama kabrofo na atia faso. Eya na eya me ya. Eya me ya o, eya me ya. Me ba online say ya, eya me ntimi control me ho. Mumfan chemi, mumfan chemi. Mumfan chemi. Share. Aningu asiye wudi sika, ewi asiye ningu asiye. Abrofo na tenase. Ena omatoto niyoma. You see, these African people and their leaders, they have this mindset that one day a Messiah is going to descend from the sky and then cause a supernatural miracle. This is what they are expecting. But such will never happen. I'm telling you the truth. Such will never happen until you sit down and rebrand yourself and relearn. You have to unlearn what you have learned and relearn. I'm telling you. Vanophilia, she says she needs my number. My number is 0540770896. 0540770896. Then you add Ghana's country's code to it in case if you are living in diaspora. Okay, but please, I've seen someone who comes from an ardent poverty, but later in life he will meet somebody one day and his story change for the better without consulting any oracle. Oh yes, because there are some people, they are destined for success no matter whether an oracle or not. But you see, that thing happened in those days, not in these recent times. where evil has inclined to a higher dimension. This time around, if you don't have anything to push you spiritually, you can't. Japhet, he says, please, prophet, teach us about investment. Okay, one day I'll take my time and talk about the loopholes through which the devil taps to drain human financially. I'll take my time and teach you people about finances. Okay. So big ups to you all. Papa, please, the Bible says that if you look at a woman who lastly you have already slept with her. Okay, please, I'll trace that. Okay. If the Bible said it, okay, let's believe in it. It says, the Bible says that when you look at a woman lastly, of course. Enti mi nuanom mesremo mentamo na ohwe the way a ekoso na areho. Ma menka se mi nkyeremo. The Spirit of God was revealing something to me. He says, what is on the way coming? And the financial crisis that is on the way coming from the year 2028 to 2034. The year 2028 to the year 2034. People will run from churches. I'm telling you. So if you're a pastor that you're watching me, please be smart enough to change the narrative of your church, the doctrines of your church. Change it and teach people. Let them introduce them to investment, because I'm telling you that when it gets to a point where your church members can't finance themselves, majority of them will leave the church. You see the sudden declination of members in churches right now. Majority of people don't go to church. The Church of Pentecost across the global world, if they will be noted for calling a spade and come out and tell us the truth, they will tell you that, in fact, their congregation has reduced in number. Church of God will tell you the same. Assemblies of God will tell you the same. SDA, my own church, will tell you the same. They will tell you the same. But the Islamic world is not experiencing same. Why? Because when you become a Christian and you go to church, one church service, 9 offertory. One church service, 6 offertory. One church service, 16 offertory. So sometimes it's like the church you are going, you are being tasked unreasonably for it. So majority of the people have decided that in these hard times, where majority of the nations of this world are experiencing a hard time or an economic recession, they can't even provide for themselves 3 times daily meal. So they have put in a stop to church. They have put in a stop to church because even to be able to facilitate transportation to church is even a problem for some of these church members. So, Pano, we will not waste our time with the little that we have and go to church. Even if God will kill us, let God kill us. This is the mindset that certain people in the society have adopted right now. Why is it supposed to be that? Why is it supposed to be that? But you, the leaders, have not preached to us to keep on, work hard, invest, save some. It is good when you go to church and we are taking money. You must support. As far as you are human, you must support. As far as you are human, you must support. Yes, you can't come to church and you say we are taking offertory and you will not partake. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You must support. You must add the little that you have so that we can be able to facilitate the bills of the utility that we have in the church. If you understand what I'm saying. So you see, if we are pastor, change the narrative of your preaching from today, or else a time is coming. You go to the church alone with your members, with your own wife and then children and preach to yourself. People are beginning to give up on Christianity and religious activities. Now, when you carry a camera and a microphone and go out there to interview certain people concerning their feelings for church in this end time, you might think that Bible says that in this end time, this and many more are the things that we should expect. But knowing fully well that we are suffering, the members are suffering. They were not being urged, they were not being pushed to go and work hard. They were rather told that they shouldn't waste their time on money. They shouldn't waste their time on investment. They shouldn't waste their time on buildings or material things, because all are vanity. This is the thought that we actually dropped in the subconsciousness of our church members. I had the opportunity to meet one business tycoon from Nigeria, a very rich man. He was just listening to some of my videos and he tried putting a call across to my end. And he was very fortunate enough to have had me. So when we met, the conversation from this rich tycoon was that he has authoritated his children to stop going to church. So the very moment that he made that statement, I was like, how? Then, due to the curiosity, I pushed him to explain further why he made that statement. He says, he says something. He says, the teachings from the church makes people poor. It makes you to become stagnant in life. Church will make you to lose certain opportunities, even when it calls for you to take advantage of certain things. Because of certain church doctrines, you remain paralyzed financially. So he has been able to amass wealth. He has been able to amass wealth. And he wouldn't love the situation whereby upon his demise, when he's dead and gone, then his children will be suffering. So from now, he needs to teach them the truth and look for a church that will brand his family to become investors, big time business tycoons. If you understand what I'm saying, the church is losing people. The church. That is why it is easy for a false preacher, a false apostle, a false prophet to emerge in the continent of Africa and become successful. Why? Because the false prophet have mastered certain techniques and got to realize that majority of these Christians in the continent of Africa are suffering. So the very moment you bring out a little cash and lure them, they will follow you. You see why when you go to South Africa, when you go to Nigeria and come to Ghana, there are so many false prophets who are killing people behind closed doors and using them for rituals and their evil activities. But yet, when you preach and make mention of these people, their name, their church members will come after you. Do you know why? It's because the false prophet, it's not that he has used any charms to bewitch them. Though I know that majority of these false prophets, they go to these Benin dark laws and stuff to collect certain magical powers to hypnotize certain people. But in reality, you could see that the people who are fighting for these false prophets are people who are incapacitated financially. They don't have anything. They are jobless. It is the prophet who has been feeding them. So he needs to fight for someone who is feeding him. So you see, there are certain messages that I don't waste my time to listen. Why? Because I don't waste my time to listen. What will you gain when you gain the whole world and loses your life? What will you gain? My brother, what will somebody who never even got a bicycle tire gain if he dies? Answer me. If you are able to answer me, I will also answer you. What I will gain exactly when I gain the whole world and die. I will tell you. This is a subliminal weapon directly from the Bible, which fight you. When they shoot this kind of messages into your human thinking, they confuse you, and by confusing you, they try to subvert you and cripple you to become stuck at one point. What will you gain when you gain the whole world and you die? Wait for me to gain the whole world and see. I love it. I love the true Jesus. I love the true Jesus because that man was highly educated and very truthful. Jesus was highly educated and very truthful. He taught the truth. He liberated people. He provided comfortability for people. He made life so soft for people. That is why people were going crazy about him. The Jewish people didn't like it because he was actually liberating people. He was trying to broaden the horizon of people as at his time. So they didn't like it. Gross wickedness is not when you pick up a knife or a gun to shoot somebody to death. Gross wickedness can also come in the form of trying to hide the truth from people and making them to wallow in suffering. It can also be that. All those pastors who normally come out, tell them to go to church on Sunday and preach naked. Told them, you see, tell those pastors to go to church on Sundays and stand on the pulpit and preach naked, and see what their church members will tell them. I am telling you that there are certain things in the Bible that was never said by God. It was being written in the Bible intentionally by our slave masters, just to weaken our state of thinking. Just to weaken our state of thinking. Go and read John 21. Go and read John chapter 21. When the apostles, Peter, James, and those other people, when they were poor and had nothing, they left the kingdom of God. They left the kingdom of God. They never proceeded by carrying on the good message. Why? Because they were poor. But when Jesus came on the scene and prayed for them and gave them the grace to become successful in ministry, this is where Peter began and bounced back to carry on the cross. The ways of a poor man is never right. The ways of a poor man is never right. I'm telling you. You see, a poor man becomes automatic sinner. Even if you are not willing to become a sinner, you become a sinner because you will lie. When you are poor, you go through marginalization. People will not even dare to associate themselves with you because you can't buy proper soaps. You stink. You can't buy perfume. Who would love to talk to somebody who stinks? Nobody. Go and read the Bible carefully. Do your research. Why did Peter backslided? Ask yourself that. Why did Peter backslided? Peter backslided because there was no money. They backslided. They left the gospel. John 21. They left the gospel there and backslided and went back to fishing because they know they have preached the gospel for so many days, months, and years, and they are not successful. They live in cages and dungeons, and then they put on tattered attires. If you are my church member and a follower, if you like me, I'm telling you, go and look for money. Go and look for money. You already have Jesus Christ. Have you sinned? Have you stolen something from anybody? Don't you believe in Jesus Christ? You believe in Jesus Christ, right? So as you believe in Jesus Christ, why should you waste your time? Go and work. It got to a point when these Pharisees, they encountered Jesus and asked Jesus questions. He says, is it good for somebody, a believer, one of your followers, is it good for that person to pay tax? Is it good? They asked Jesus that. Is it good for your followers not to pay tax? And Jesus asked them. He says, give me one of the coin. And when he looked, he said, wow, whose head is on the coin? He says, it is the head of what? Kaiser or Caesar. He says, give whatever that belongs to Caesar to Caesar. Do you know the meaning of that? Now, when they departed from the presence of these Pharisees, Jesus told Peter to go on the sea and cast a hook. The first fish that he will catch, he should open the mouth of that fish. There is a gold coin in the mouth of that fish. He should carry it and go and sell it out and use it to pay their taxes, or else people will come after them. So the question is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Is it good when you are a Christian and you can't even pay for your utility bills, your rental bills, your light bills, your water bills? You know very well that everything in human life, it rests on the shoulder of money, and yet still you people preach against. You have something in your human membrane against money. You people always go against money. And sometimes these baby Christians piloting and carrying themselves as Holy Gholistic Mama Jesus in this Christendom, they think they know it all. Before you realize, they have gone out there to lose their virginity and cause have what you call fornication and stuff. Why? Because you don't have it. I'm telling you, you can never have a peace of mind when you are broke. You can never have a peace of mind when you are broke. So the systems in Africa, it needs to be changed. You can't tell me you know God more than the man who brought Bible to you. You can never tell the Queen of England that you know God more than him. He was the one who introduced you to God and brought the word God. The word God. God bless you. It was the Queen of England who brought that word. So you, as a believer, claiming to be a believer, you can never know God more than the Queen of England. Even he himself, bringing God to you, he leaves God behind and go and work. Go and work. We need to industrialize. We need to industrialize Africa. This one is producing this. This one is producing that. This one is producing this. This one is producing that. By the time that we come to ourselves, you see that Africa has advanced. You become successful in life. This is what the measures to which these UAE people put in place. The measures that these European continents try to put in place. These are the said measures. They have people who can produce something, but we are a consumer state. We consume to an extent that even a toothpick, we import it. And that is the realities of Africa. Go to Nigeria. Majority of the rich people in Nigeria, it's either they have soiled their hands in an innocent blood, they have killed an innocent person for money ritual, or they are thieves who have bastardized nation's economy. They steal from the nation. Majority of them are politicians. Or majority of them, they are like a cartel who are also drug lords. Do you know why? Because we don't have any ventures. We don't have any stream where we can walk through. We don't have any ways to navigate ourselves to become successful in life. We don't have any way to navigate ourselves out from the poverty that we find ourselves in. When it comes to Ghana, the same thing is happening here. No development, no businesses, no industrialization. Monday to Sunday, it's all about worshiping. And the saddest aspect of it is that they waste their 24 hours. God gave everybody 24 hours. They waste it in the church. Sing praises. Worship a calendar. Hoping that one day the calendar will make provision. It is very sad. It is very sad. A young, vibrant, energetic man will waste his energy in the church and serve a calendar, and hope that one day this said calendar that doesn't have mouth, neither ears or eyes to see, will respond to their prayers. Now, when you confront these people, they will tell you that what is in them is bigger than what is in the world. Now, they tend to criminalize these traditional people. I'm not saying that these traditional worshippers, what they are doing is of right. But these so-called believers and Christians will tell you that they are worshiping idols who cannot talk, who cannot reason, who can't even eat. Now, what is the contradiction, or what is the difference? No, not even a contradiction. What is the difference between you worshiping a calendar, having a belief in a calendar, you worshiping Enomere, praying to Enomere, a statue, St. Andrews, St. Barnabas? We don't have St. Kwekwe Champon, St. Akwesi Agyemang, St. OPATAFUOR is not there. Everything about the African people is being demonized. We have been demonized to an extent. Even our ancestors and predecessors are all being demonized in the name of this thing. We should be ashamed of ourselves. And those pastors at the higher positions should be ashamed of themselves. They should bow down their heads in shame because they have failed the country and the continent at large. The pastors in Africa, they should bow down their heads in shame. Not all of them, but some of them. These so-called bishops, they should bow down their heads in shame because they have failed the entire continent. They have wasted the entire energy of Africa and made them to believe in an object, a printed paper, somebody's image that was printed on a paper. They have made us to believe in it. The entire bishops, the apostles, the teachers and prophets, they should bow down their heads in shame. Now, after making Africa look like this, you tend to hold politicians responsible. After making Africa look like this, after making Africa look like this, you tend to blame the politicians. Were you not the ones who joined hands with the politicians? When the politician came to you during campaign times, were you people bold enough to admit the truth to them? You didn't tell them the truth. When the politicians came to you during campaign times, were you people bold enough to have told them the truth? They came in with brown envelopes and gave you people a chicken change of 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, $20,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, a peanut. They gave your pastors, and they began rolling like lions and giving out false prophecy in the realms of the spirit. Papa, go on, carry on. Yes, I am seeing a name like who is Evans here. All these things are being staged. It is never real. Criminals. You are criminals. You are propagating falsehood. I don't know why the continent of Africa, everything is not working. The political system is not working. The religious system is not working. Pastors have become criminals and thieves. If a pastor can connive with an ordinary church member to come and give false testimony in a church, who is criminal than this pastor? You are criminal than the politician. Don't come and fool. Don't come and paint a politician to be a criminal whilst you know yourself that you have stand publicly to deceive people. It is never true. It doesn't work like that. Everything in Africa is not working. Our traditional leaders are not working. Religious leaders cry their corn. Politicians also, politician steals $2 million. Then he tried to give you $10,000 so that you praise him and tell him that carry on. You see, the politicians always want people who will tell them, carry on, sir. When the pastor in Africa is suffering from chronic ailment, when the pastor in Africa, being it Nigeria, Ghana, everywhere, when they are suffering from a chronic ailment, they travel overseas to seek for a better medical care. So let's assume if the white people were to live their life the way we have lived our life here, do you think you would have traveled to go there? African pastor will travel overseas to seek for special medical treatment. Okay. African kings and queens will travel overseas to seek for a better medical treatment. African politicians will travel overseas to seek for better medical treatment. All these people will carry the country's money. Now, you people living in UK, when you are coming to Ghana, you people living in UK, when you are coming to Ghana, the UK government does not allow you people to even come with just $20,000. The UK government will never allow you to come with just £20,000. I think it is allowed to board a plane with just £5,000 or £10,000. I stand to be corrected. How much? I think the UK government will allow you to come to Africa with just £5,000 or £10,000. But the African man doesn't care. He amassed wealth illicitly. Now, after that, he will carry over 50, 60,000, 100,000, 200,000 and put in his luggage and travel overseas and spend with it. So every day, the politician is taking something from the country. The religious leaders, the pastors are taking something from the country. The kings and queens are taking something from the country. But the UK government has put in measures in place in such a way that money does not leave the country anyhow. So most of the times, their economy are thriving and performing well globally. But because our leaders, they have... I will not even blame the leaders. I'm blaming these Christians and these religious people, the Muslims, who are not willing and ready for development and new discoveries in life. I'm blaming these people, our brother Muslims and brother Christians, who are not willing to allow themselves to be retaught and learn the truth and live by the truth, so that the truth will save them. Will save them. I'm blaming them. Amata says, when you are coming from Canada, it is $10,000 Canadian dollar, right? The Canadian government will allow you to come out, to come to Africa with only 10,000 what? Canadian dollar. Okay, thank you very much. But the African man, a politician, a religious man, will steal $400,000 and hide it. But the UK government, all these immigration officers at the airport, when they see the money, they will not talk about it. Do you know why? Because you are bringing the money into their country. It says $10,000 from America. The rest must be declared. Okay. You see the realities of life. You see the realities of life. You see the realities of life and how people have shallow mentality. How people have shallow mentality and mindset. So let's assume that. Let's assume if life was to be good for us, you can have a better education, better health care. You have access to a good health system. A good health system. Somebody suffering from pneumonia goes to the hospital and is being laid on a bare ground. What happened? What happened? My brother, I don't preach like the way the other pastors preach, okay? I am a pastor or a leader who is craving for development and the progress of humanity and the betterment of human destiny. My heart, my spirit craves for that. I don't want my leaders to live in that out teachings, those archaic teachings and a lifestyle and a way of life. You see, majority of these Christians in the continent of Africa, not all of them, but majority of these Christians in the continent of Africa, majority of them, they are bereft of intellectual acuity and then discernment. They can't reason. They can't synthesize complex issues. They are who they are just like that. That is why some of these religious leaders in the continent of Africa, they are saying some of the things they come out with, their actions. When you have an opportunity to meet them, the way they behave, it calls their vapid and insipid. Sometimes it reflects a death of an intellectual curiosity. Sometimes some of the sayings and the things that these so-called pastors will execute, you might be tempted to ask about their educational background and ask yourself whether these people are well educated. Do you know why? Do you know that we have evangelists and apostles in this country? In the early beginnings of social media, like Facebook, TikTok, and then Twitter, and these Instagram. During the early inceptions, these so-called pastors came out and boldly admitted to their members that Facebook is a demonic thing. Facebook is a satanic thing. Facebook is a demonic thing. They told us, some of these so-called pastors who are bereft of intellectual acuity, they don't know anything about life. They don't know anything about timing and season. They don't know that the era of analog is past. We are in a digital season, and We are living in a cybernetic hive mind matrix era, a system where robotic has become norms of the day. These pastors are not yet conversant with it. So anything that comes out of technology, they demonize it. Facebook is from the demon. YouTube is from the demon. TikTok is from the demon. Instagram is from the demon. But today, these so-called pastors are making gains and using their social media platforms to win souls, whether being it good or bad. I don't care. I'm not talking about the authenticity of it. You see, everything about African pastors is demonic. When you prosper, demonic. When you don't prosper, demonic. When you bring about new inventions, demonic. Hey, this is satanic. This is unconstitutional. This is not good. Everything about Africans is not good. They will tell you everything. So you see, sometimes before you be able to revolutionize things, before you be able to come about with things, integrate a new feature in the system, you must shut your ears and close your eyes. Especially if you have a very poor family background and you want to pull out and become successful, people will fight you in the family. They will fight you. They will label you with all forms of worth. You are arrogant, you don't respect, you are this and that and a whole lot. So sometimes you need to clear those people off. I'm telling you, I am a pastor. I'm a pastor. I've never bowed to any evil spirit. I serve the great Yahweh. But if you tell me you are a believer, but yet you detest development and progress, then I don't know the source of your power. I can boldly and categorically tell you that then you are part of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Everything. Facebook shas here. Almost say, oh, bonsam, nyame na de ba ye. Minya evangelist omu okreimu, bonsam, nyame na de ba ye. TikTok, nyame na de ba ye. Omu de bia nyame, odi ni jimi ni shoe kakraka di gina puppet so, nkwasi asem kwa na obeka sa na wapon, na wakotena fie, oji collection na wakodi abem kwan. Ani mutuo, enkatekwa ni mutuo, ubehune na fu kakraka na ne kwachi enam bia abehye ne kwachi adentia osofo ondidi responsibly. Osofo ondidi responsibly. Empeja kitua bi ba osofo abrabom a ondidi responsibly. Ubehu enam kakraka bi eni na fu no akeka kwase asem saa. Enti udi na chi a ubeba asesa wa abrabom yedie kura untimi nya bi da. Was John the Baptist rich? John the Baptist now John the Baptist no I don't care if John the Baptist was not prospered. I don't care. It's my life. I will not live my life like how John the Baptist lived his life, and that is all. During the days of Peter, John the Baptist, apostles, and the Pauls, during their times, it was easy to get food to eat. You can literally branch and go to any of your friends' house and eat and go home just like that. But in this end time where things have become very scarce, I'm telling you, you can never go to anybody's house and eat anyhow. If care is not taken, they will poison you. And you know for a fact. Did this obetna puppet so did this there are some preachings bi wo a free asofo bi wo ha mintie ye wo preachings bi wo kra me montie because asem na o kana aba bi anim adwene bi anim a block wadwene ati ase a block wadwene abra TV baso. Yes, Dr. Oduro says the same attitude was portrayed when by the preachers when television came to the scene. Yes, because they are foolish and they are never ready to learn. Everything that will come on the scene to help the kingdom of God, pastors will criticize it. When television came on the scene, they demonize it. Today, majority of the churches that are thriving and have amassed a lot of members to themselves are people who are always on television. Television has become beneficial to them. Television has become beneficial to them. But when television first came on the scene, they stood against it. You see how they are. You see the nature of these pastors. Everything, they'll rise up against it. Everything. So me, I don't literally waste my time and listen to some of these people, their preachings, because they are not well sophisticated. They only preach what we call inverted spirals of worldly sophistications. It's something that are not real. They don't preach the realities of life. I need human progress and development. Thank you very much. Meet me same time tomorrow. Oh, don't mind them. John the Baptist was not rich when he was alive, but John the Baptist did not pay utility bill. Thank you, Madam Doreen. Thank you for the answer. You leave them. These people, let them fool at the comment section. You know them. Go and check them. By now, he's living in a single room, even not with a proper layout. He lives in the slums and ghettos in where he lives. Don't mind them. Thank you very much to have you watch this live telecast. Tomorrow we will meet the same time. Share this video. Don't be watching nonsense. Don't be watching nonsense. Shiadie ni wiase sika ema wabra bom han wate. Roger Joseph, you are laughing, Rosemont upon. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you all, love you and respect you. I'm sorry if I didn't talk well, but even if I didn't talk well, accept it. We come, baby. Say, she need beka say, me pacho man ka say ya, mon fam chemi. Japheth, he says, teach us the ways of money. Don't worry. I will empower all of you to become successful so that you can worship God in truth and in spirit.